Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus, doing our third week of 50 decks in 50 weeks, taking some of the top decks of Pioneer and Modern and playing them through several leagues, starting on our own journeys to kind of work on the decks a little bit here and there, and also to get to know the decks and kind of give people a short guide about how to learn the deck in a hurry when you don't necessarily have time to play and pick up and learn the deck. This deck is Eldrazi Tron in Modern. Is a big mana deck based around the combination of the Urza lands and Eldrazi Temple to power out very powerful colorless cards. This deck was also recently hit by a ban, much like our Urza Oko deck that we played in the very first week of this series. However, this deck was kind of a little less hit because the card taken out of it was Mycosynth Lattice from the Karn the Great Creator Wishboard, which does take away a free win kind of aspect of the deck, but also does allow you to still continue to use Karn the Great Creator to great effect. Recent lists have still been doing well with the list. Both Yama Killer and the Tunneling Cat have been continuing to use the powered up version of Eldrazi, which also got hit by a ban many moons ago during Eldrazi Summer with the banning of Eye of Ugin. They left Eldrazi Temple in play, and a lot of people complain that this makes the deck too powerful. It does enable this archetype to kind of survive. The other thing this deck is based around, besides the identification of Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower, those of you who aren't familiar, those are combined the Urza Tron. Each one of them alone taps for a colorless mana. You get one of each into play. Mine, Power Plant, each tap for 2 colorless mana. Tower taps for 3. Traditionally more leveraged in Green Tron, which uses both Expedition Map and a card called Sylvan Scrying in order to find your Tron pieces more consistently. Powers out things like Karn Liberated, Wormcoil Engine, etc. This deck is a little less reliant on those and instead is much more interested in the card Eldrazi Temple, that enables them to power out their Eldrazi's a turn or two in advance. Things like Matter Shaper, Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher, Matter Shaper, pretty much a replacement card. Whenever it dies, you get a replacement. Thought-Knot Seer is kind of a Thoughtseize effect attached to a 4/4 body, with the downside of when the 4/4 dies, your opponent gets to draw a card. Reality Smasher here, very powerful card with a basically almost the modern equivalent of Glory Bringer, only a little bit easier to cast. Doesn't have the ability to remove creatures, but instead, in order to cast a removal spell targeting it, you must discard a card or counter, and it's a 5/5 trample haste as opposed to a 4/4 flyer with haste. Beyond that, this is a Chalice of the Void deck. This is one of the cards that kind of leverages this deck to its highest ability. Chalice of the Void is an XX spell. Basically, any spell with converted mana cost X gets countered if Chalice of the Void is in play, so X is on 1. Any 1-drops are countered, etc., which is very relevant in a format like Modern, which is usually very efficient with cheap spells. So Chalice on 0, 1, and 2, obviously very powerful in this format. Beyond that, you have things like Walking Ballista and Ola's Dust. Ola's Dust is kind of your go-to sweeper. Doesn't hit any of your things, while also allowing you to clear out the board of most of your opponent's things outside of some decks like Affinity or the remake of the Grixis Urza decks. But that even hits a lot of things out of there. It does leave all their colorless artifacts floating around, and can be a drawback, obviously, in the mirror match. But you know, and then beyond that, the different lists play different things at the top end here. This list is choosing to play 2 copies of Ugin the Ineffable, which both is a cost reducer for your colorless spells, also is a source of card advantage in some of the grindier games. And then beyond that, you have copies of things like Warping Whale to be interacting with your opponent, killing their less powerful creatures, countering sorceries, which can be relevant. There aren't too many sorceries that are extremely powerful, other than Scape Shift out of the Green-Red Titan lists. And then Sorcerer Spyglass. The reason you choose Sorcerer Spyglass over Pithing Needle in your main deck is because oftentimes you're just jamming Chalice on 1 and having 1-drops in your deck that aren't Expedition Map, which allows you to fetch your various 1-of lands. Also assembling Tron or getting more Eldrazi Temples. Outside of this 1-drop, you don't really want to be playing a lot of 1-drops in your list. And then this list is choosing to play an Emrakul the Promised in the top end. Mindslaver is a whack card. You're generating a bunch of mana, putting different types of artifacts and instants in the graveyard. Potentially, cast this for 8 or 9 mana in the mid to late game, kind of take over the game from there. Your land base has a lot of utility. Things like Blast Zone allow you to deal with problematic permanents otherwise you'd have to struggle with. Cavernous Fill is pretty good against anything relying on counter spells to kind of keep you down from casting your stuff. Ghost Quarter and Tech Edge, pretty good at disrupting your opponent's mana, getting man lands, blowing up opposing Tron pieces, so many other different things. 2 copies of Wastes here for any style of Field of the Ruin or Path to Exile, Assassin's Trophy kind of decks, and then finally 1 copy of Scavenger Grounds gives you an additional graveyard hate piece in addition to the Karn the Great Creator wish board. So Karn the Great Creator, final piece of this deck, very powerful 4-mana Planeswalker, a little bit more reasonable to cast in this deck than something like Karn Liberated. You're often not prioritizing or able to mulligan to Tron like Green Tron does. So 4 mana, take it up, next turn, grab a card out of your sideboard if you have no Assemble Tron. Gives you access to a lot of utility out of your sideboard. To that end, you have both Grafdigger's Cage and Tormod's Crypt for graveyard decks. Pithing Needle when you need Pithing Needle and Sorcerer's Spyglass when you need to shut down activated abilities. Relic of Progenitus, also a graveyard hate piece, so someone's really hating on the graveyard. 2 copies of Spatial Contortion is kind of your removal spell of choice to go with this member in the main deck. Liquid Metal Coating is pretty interesting. Pairs with Tron, allows you to shut down a permanent during your opponent's upkeep, so shutting down Planeswalkers, shutting down lands, etc. Torpor Orb's a weird one. I suspect this is primarily for humans. That's certainly a deck that could give Eldrazi Tron fits. I could see wanting that against humans. Ratchet Bomb is kind of your engineered explosives for the deck that can't really cast them because obviously you're colorless. And then Crucible of Worlds here is an interesting one when you're trying to blow up your lands, allows you to get your Tron pieces back, allows you to recur Ghost Quarters and Tech Edges, possibly massacring your opponent. Staring Bridge, you kind of use this to draw out the game, allows you to accrue advantage behind your wall of defenders and continue to take up your Karn and using your Karn the Great Creator to kind of win the game for there, get a lot of advantage before your opponent either blows it up or you just draw enough cards that you allow you to do that. One card that is missing from this build that I find interesting is Mystic Forge. I think that is a card that could be worthwhile consideration going forward, something we'll have to look at as we're playing leagues. And then 1 copy of Wormcoil Engine and 1 copy of Sky Sovereign. Sky Sovereign's pretty good when you're trying to mow down people and also allows you to pressure Planeswalkers a little bit decently. In a deck that otherwise can struggle to pressure Planeswalkers, comes down, shoots a Planeswalker or a creature, and then you can attack with a 6/5 flyer, which is nice. Wormcoil, pretty good against decks like Jund, pretty good against Burn and such if you happen to last in the mid game, and then Walking Ballista because having access to more copies of Walking Ballista against a lot of decks is very nice. The only other version that has recently been doing well is the version with Yama Killer, and we'll do his version at a different time. His version is a slate green splash for Once Upon a Time, so I think that's a reason to explore that at a different time. It puts a little bit of a different strain on the deck, but we will be exploring that hopefully in the next league we are playing. That's kind of my long-winded explanation as to what Eldrazi Tron is doing, but hopefully that kind of gives you a good basis of what we do before we start playing this league. If you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, give a thumbs up, and a constructive comment down below. We are back with some Eldrazi Tron and 1 lander. This is a pretty easy mulligan. Looking for, obviously, more lands, but also Eldrazi temples. This hand is quite nice, except we don't really have any early plays. We put back that, and we hope to get a little bit lucky here off the top. No, Dredge. Alright, well... going on? It's not letting me play a land. Be right back. Alright, back to the recording. So our opponent did a whole lot of dredging. Exiled Creeping Chill. Cathartic Ring, but managed to hit nothing back into play right now. Chalice on 1. Does that even matter against our deck? There are certain cards that matters against. We obviously have a very slow start against Eldrazi, or them. We have no dredgers in the graveyard. That's not great for them, good for us. Get an Amalgam and a Bloodghast back. 2 Amalgams, which is annoying. Another Cathartic. Alright, that's a thing. Okay. A lot of power in play. Just go Matter Shaper plus Dismember, maybe? And then if we're lucky, maybe we can draw an untapped land and wow. We just dead anyway. We're just dead anyway. Well, let's see. We're drawing a land anyway. So in this matchup, just want to bring in the Graveyard Hates, Crypt, Relic. Do we just bring in Ratchet Bomb? And Sorcerer's Spyglass, although it could potentially hit thing that we're just milling themselves with. Yeah, I'm doing good here. Tricorn. Don't think that's worth fighting over, though. As the Amalgam. Yeah, X ones are they even playing? Just Shriekhorn? They're also playing Merchant of the Veil. Lightning Axe is a reason to leave in some amount of. Probably can get away with shaving a Chalice. Emrakul is probably a little bit slow. What other cards could we want here? Hopefully we want to leave some of this stuff on the board as wish targets, but the graveyard hate I think we can afford to. Bridge could be decent. I'll just do it like that. Hopefully that's enough. Maybe we're supposed to bring in Spatial Contortion. Once again, Contortion only kind of buys time. Mine and mine. Hands a mulligan. Hands a keep. Getting rid of here. Just Blast Zone? One of the Urza pieces. Probably one of the Urza pieces. Really hard to mulligan a hand with turn 3 Reality Smasher on the play, so. Kind of awkward, but would also be kind of funny if we. I think we were going to complete Natural Tron, wouldn't we have? Still think it was correct to play to the. Whatchamacallits. Yep. Yep. Your goal here is just to run them down. Can't be picky already. 6. Yeah. There's a chance to play our lands there. Don't think it's going to particularly matter though. Yep. Did screw up not playing a land there. So on the draw, is there anything that changes? Spatial Contortion, once again, only good if we have Graveyard Hate already. Guess you could argue the same with Dismember, but Dismember at least you can play for 1 mana sometimes. Those of you that are more familiar with the E-Tron archetype, should I have been bringing in Spatial Contortion or Dismember, or we're bringing in both in this matchup? Please sound off in the comments down below. Once again, literally my first time playing this deck in probably about 2 years. So, is there anything I'm supposed to be bringing in over these Ugins? Like, Emrakul could be good, Wormcoil could be good, etc. So, not sure if I'm just supposed to completely abandon Karn in this matchup. Okay. So, do I keep this hand? Hand's got like no action. I think I have to mulligan this one, especially on the draw. Just seems so silly though, right? Keep this one, get rid of the tower. Probably still not going to be fast enough, but hopefully we rip one of our 3 hate pieces. Alright, all this dust is a nice card, but a little slow on the uptake. Alright. Cathartic. Okay. Sure. A lot of hand disruption. Just let that resolve. Obviously, we're expelling some resources to kill them. We're going 8. Stinky, 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 can't you see? Yep, blood gas, get the thing back, get the other thing back. So, wow. Awkward. Really need another land there. The ox could be extremely rough. Feels like this is the ox. We're gonna go creeping chill. It's a lot of castable cards. Alright. Just doing another Ox of Ruinous Escape. Oh my, that's a lot of prize amalgams. Here come the amalgams. Alright, one mana short there from being able to always dust and maybe win this game, but then we just had the blood gas coming out of the graveyard, so good match, interesting learning experience, but obviously a little bit rough of a matchup, I have a feeling. So, anyways, on next match. Back for our second match with Eldrazi Tron. So, keep this hand on the basis that Chalice the Void's good? Or at least hoping it is. It's definitely a Chalice hand. Okay. A little bit of a slow hand. Probably a blue-red. Running into my own Chalice. Yep, seems about right. Get pressure on the board here. Yep, feels like the blue-red Through the Breach deck that Pen and Sword is popularizing a little bit. I'm feeling we're gonna run. Oh, no remand. Alright. Don't know that I necessarily agree with our choices, but given our inability to hit land drops, I suppose it doesn't particularly matter. Alright, so we'll go to combat first. Which one of my 12 counter spells do I use here? Yep. And if we get breached here, we're going to feel really bad. Alright, no breach. Cool. Could just smash her here, but I think we just want to... I'll not see her again. Yep. Land of a billion counterspells. Here, we'll just draw Tron and we can punk them. Yep. So ironically, I've played our opponent's archetype many months ago. Is that enough mana? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're like 3 mana short. Okay. Alright, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure. Yeah. Chalice, bro. We both chalice checked ourselves. So am I dead? Okay. Show me a miracle. Alright. So they are the breach deck. Chalice on 5, that's certainly another possibility. Alright. Alright, so there's the breach deck. We have Blood Moons and Ashioks. Claws of Raids, Blood Moons. no planeswalkers of note in his list. Chalice is a fine card. It's just unfortunately a click submit kind of game. You bring in Relic and Walking Ballista. Down with 2 dismembers. His hand seems reasonable. See if they're tempted. Okay. No Force of Negation to be seen. Just get Temple. Who would have drawn a Tron land there? Maybe I would have considered getting Tron, but could very easily get Blood Mooned, so. Yep, about to get remanded in the Stone Age. I guess it's also possible I should have gotten like this shuts down a much more proportionate amount of their deck. Of course you have a charm. Can also Chalice for 1, played Matter Reshaper, but the majority of their annoying spells are on 2. Which counterspell do I want to play? Hey. Not great against their deck, but still okay-ish. Okay. Cool. Yep. I know Spyglass isn't particularly good, but might force them to use Polluted Delta before they want to. Emrakul, Emrakul, Emrakul. Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage. Cool. Polluted Delta. Yeah, this little lock gets very obnoxious. Sure. Hmm. I don't even know what to name. In case you brought it in against me. Okay. Find the breach. Cool. My own map keeps me from. My own chalice keeps me from casting map. Hmm. Pass turn. Is it charm? Sure. Still must be digging for the breach. It's also obnoxious because it counters most of the things that get us back in the game. Tron is unlocked. 9. 10 mana. It's possible I'm supposed to... 6. Cool. Cool. Can't play Relic. Once again, just pass turn. We're probably out of Mystic Sanctuaries. I guess we'll find out shortly. So... Alright, do you have another... Like, eventually they're just going to find Breach and kill us if we don't somehow get on the board here. That is so obnoxious. Two cards on top, so I'm dead. Sure. So obnoxious. Yep, I'm not fighting through all their crap, so here goes. Yep. Okay. And sure, it's a card, I guess. Alright, I'm done beating my head against the wall in this matchup. Be back in a minute for the next match. So we're back for our third match here with Eldrazi Tron. This hand seems pretty reasonable. Obviously not the best payoffs of the deck, but I really hope these breach decks aren't everywhere. Alright. Feels like monkey see, monkey do, though. Feels like they're just on the straight up breach plan. Definitely not casting anything pre-combat. Yep, there's the cryptic command. Skip cavern, I guess. Get Tormod's Crypt here. Just because I want something that can interact with their graveyard. Okay. Sure, can't cast it, so I'm not that worried about it. What card could I get they would particularly care about? Liquid metal coating could potentially be annoying for them. Alright. Upkeep, no reason to. Guess it's maybe Bridge I was supposed to get. Hmm. Don't think that quite worked how you wanted it to, friend. Some land destruction plan. Sure. Alright, and I put up the scoops. Alright, so 2 wonderful breach combo decks in a row. How do I wish to sideboard in this matchup? Probably bring in Ballista. Crucible could be entertaining. Ratchet Bomb, maybe. Maybe these 2 Dismembers. And a Partridge and a Pear Tree. And go down the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Bring in Relic. These other cards particularly make sense. Here I'm just supposed to bring in Tormods. Go down 1 copy of Ola's Dust. Not really blowing up our lands, so I don't know how important Crucible actually is. So what does this hand do? Not a whole lot, so mulligan. This hand likewise is not great. I think we have to mulligan this one as well. Tower. This hand. Back. Shaper, I guess. This gives us a good backup plan should they force this. So they're not fetching basics, so it's possible they didn't bring in Blood Moon. We will let them make the first move. Or Limit at the Sea. Okay. So we need tower, or power plant, I guess. Remand or yep. Cool. In the Blood Moon, maybe. We're gonna get promptly meet a cryptic command. Yep. It's possible I was supposed to wait until next turn, but we could also get breached here and that not matter. Cryptic command on top. Cool. Somehow hope this resolves. Not happening this game, is it? Yeah, you just realized there's a ghost quarter chilling out, didn't you? Kind of realized there was a ghost quarter chilling out. Still think you countered that though, right? Okay, scry 2. Curious why they let that resolve though. Seems like one you don't want to resolve. Alright, so just continue putting pressure on them. Opt. Interesting. Sure. So exile one of your snappy McSnappersons. Okay, there's a through the breach. Which, by the way, will not be lethal. Sure. Not sure what the whole point of that was, but you know. Yeah, cryptic command. Doesn't give a cryptic command. Okay. Wildly unfortunate. Sure. So where do they go attacking? I think it just finally dawned on you that it's probably not the right attack either. Two, three, four, five. That's unfortunate. One, two, three, four, five. Well, we're getting a map back, so just tower. Sure. We have another breach where he's dead, so I mean, kind of whatevs, right? Yep. Certainly draw whatever their missing combo piece is. Question is, am I supposed to grab Cavern of Souls or am I supposed to grab Tech Edge here? I feel like maybe I'm supposed to grab just Tech Edge. Okay. Again. Okay. Do you have Red Source plus Breach plus stuff? There's the Red Source. Alright, Scavenger Grounds is a nice draw. Sure. Alright, here's hoping. Okay. Hey, they figured it out. Alright. So oh yeah, Torpor actually makes sense to bring in, doesn't it? Turn Snapcaster into one giant paperweight. Dismember no, Contortion no, Cage. Needle no, Cutting no, Spyglass no, Crucible no. Like Warping Whale feels actively terrible, but like, what else are we gonna bring in, right? Right like this. Wow. So if I could guarantee hitting a second land drop, regardless of what it was, I think I'd keep this hand, but I can't, so oh dear. Sure. Open Prey. Probably should have actually put back Ratchet Bomb. Of course, they have the Force when I'm relying on map the most. Alright. Another expedition map. Cool. Fast turn. Watch them have a braid. Not casting anything here this turn, so, you know. Cavern of Souls. Eldrazi. Alright. Blood Moon, Force of Negation, Emrakul. I'm gonna hit us with a Blood Moon right now. I think it actually hurts them more than it hurts us. Okay. Sure. So your hand is Force of Negation, Snapcaster Mage. Yep. So your Lightning Bolt's gonna have to go face. Chalice on 2. Okay. Yes. Hmm. Don't breach us, bro. So you're dead? Come to command. Alright. Man, got the win against the wonderful Breach combo deck. Thanks, Pen and Sword. Anyways, gonna wrap up the matches for tonight there. How's the slog, man? That was a slog. 3 probably not great matches. Once again, if you're more familiar with Eldrazi Tron, please tell me how to sideboard correctly against good old Dredge. Blue-Red Breach, a little bit harder to sideboard against. I'm somewhat familiar with the archetype, having played it to some success, so 2 or 3 years ago. So, but good to know that Mr. Kaminsky is having a profound effect on the metagame, as people hear, oh my MG, 14-1, gotta play the deck. So, not to say Blue-Red Breach isn't decent, but it does have its problematic matchups as well. So, got some new toys in that deck with Omen of the Sea and some other stuff. But beyond that, it's been a long, grindy night, and I have work in the morning. So, I need to get to bed. I thank everybody for tuning in today. This has been John for MTG Nexus. Everybody has a great day.